Sic semper tyrannis! Romans, countrymen and lovers, hear me for my cause, and be silent that you may hear. Believe me for mine honor, and have respect to mine honor, that you may believe. Censure me in your wisdom, and await your senses that you may the better judge. If there be any in this assembly, any dear friend of Caesar's, to him I say that Brutus's love to Caesar was no less than his. If then that friend demand why Brutus rose against Caesar, this is my answer. Not that I loved Caesar less, but that I loved Rome more. Had you rather Caesar were living and die all slaves than that Caesar were dead to live all free men? As Caesar loved me, I weep for him. As he was fortunate, I rejoiced at it. As he was valiant, I honor him. But as he was ambitious, I slew him. There is tears for his love, joy for his fortune, and honor for his valor. Death for his ambition. Who is here so base that would be a bondman, if any speak, for him have I offended? Who is here so rude that would not be a Roman, if any speak, for him have I offended? Who is here so vile that will not love his country? If any speak, for him have I offended. I pause for a reply. You gaze upon I with dagger eyes. These same eyes once gazed upon I with adoration. John Wilkes Booth, the star! Now, John Wilkes Booth, the villain that murdered Abraham Lincoln. The crime of the ages has been committed. It is hard to conceive of any event which would occasion sorrow so profound and apprehension and foreboding so painful. People appear perfectly horrified, and the utmost rage is felt toward all known secessionists and rebel sympathizers. The feeling of the populace has been one of the most intense indignation against the perpetrators. Monster crime, demon deed, appalling, iniquitous, barbaric, butcher, wretch, sanguinary fiend, dastard murderer, bloody-handed cutthroat. I struck boldly, and not as the papers say. I walked with a firm step through 1,000 of his friends, was stopped but pushed on. I shouted sic semper before I fired. In jumping, broke my leg. I passed all his pickets that night, rode 60 miles with the bones of my leg tearing the flesh at every jump. I can never repent it, though I hated to kill. Our country owed all her troubles to him, and God simply made me the instrument of his punishment. After being hunted like a dog, through swamps, woods, and last night being chased by gunboats, till I was forced to return wet, cold, and starving, with every man's hand against me, I am here in despair. And why? For doing what Brutus was honored for. What made Tell a hero. And yet I, for striking down a greater tyrant than they ever knew and looked upon as a common cutthroat. My action was purer than either of theirs. One hoped to be great himself. The other had not only his country's, but his own wrongs to avenge. I hoped for no gain. I knew no private wrong. I struck for my country and that alone. A country groaned beneath this tyranny and prayed for this end. Yet now behold the cold hand they extend to me. God cannot pardon me if I have done wrong. Yet I cannot see any wrong except in serving a degenerate people. The very little I left behind to clear my name, the government will not allow to be printed. So ends all. For my country, I have given up all that makes life sweet and holy, brought misery on my family, and am sure there is no pardon in heaven for me, since man condemns me so. God, try and forgive me and bless my mother. I do not repent the blow I struck. I made before God, but not to man. When if the world knew my heart, that one blow would have made me great, though I did desire no greatness. Tonight I try to escape these bloodhounds once more. God's will be done. Who can read his fate? Ah, you've a bad hand. The line's all crisscross. It's full enough of sorrow, full of trouble. Trouble and plenty everywhere I look. To break hearts, there'll be nothing to you. They'll die young and leave many to mourn you, many, many to love you too. But you'll be rich, hey? Generous and free with your money. You're born under an unlucky star. You've got in your hand a thundering crowd of enemies. Not one friend, you'll make a bad end, and have plenty to love you afterwards. You'll have a fast life, short, but a grand one. Oh, I'm fortune's fool. 'Tis a fortune I received from an English gypsy when I was a child. I then showed it to my beloved sister, Asia Booth. It is this, my fortune. See here, I've written it, but there was no need to do that, for it is so bad I shall not soon forget it. You're probably right. She took her money, though, and she said she was glad she was not a young girl, or she'd follow me through the world for my handsome face. I did. I did ask her, though. If it's in the stars or in my hand, how am I to escape it? The gypsy said I was to have a grand life. No matter how short then, so it be grand. The beginning, ladies and gentlemen. In the Maryland countryside, Bel Air, my birthplace, born May 10th, 1838, I am the fourth son of Junius Brutus Booth and Mary Ann Holmes. I have never seen my father perform. I have only heard of his greatness upon the stage. I heard he was the greatest. But I could be a better man. Alcohol pushed his delicately balanced mind out of kilter. By the time I was born, he had wandered naked in a snowstorm, sought Christian burial for a bushel of pigeon, and tried to sell his own son, Edwin, for $5. My mother, well, she was like sunshine, always there to pick up the pieces. My siblings and I were taught to follow her example and regard these periodic tortures of mind, these seasons of abstraction, with sad and reverent forbearance. After the death and burial of my father, we were removed to the country home, where the delightful summer vacations had been passed during the years of school life. My brothers were all away, and my mother buried herself in grief for her lost husband and the settlement of her intricate affairs, for he had died without having left a will. So it was time for me to farm, or as mother called it, make a living out of this useless land, and as I called it, trying to starve respectably by torturing the barren earth. The long, drowsy days of summer, long, delightful evenings, and the dull winter time, my sister Asia and I were much thrown together. In the woods is where we would play. Earth's healthy breath. Asia, you must have a whiff. It's delightful. I call it burrowing. I am not a rabbit. Heaven and earth. How glorious it is to live divine to breathe this breath of life with clear mind and healthy lungs. Don't let us be sad. Life is so short and the world is so beautiful. Just to breathe is delicious. One night, I kind of, like Katie did to show Asia, all she desired was to have it for her collection. No, you don't, you bloodthirsty female. Katie shall be free and shall sing tonight out in the sycamores. Oh, you small devil, how you can banish sleep, quiet, and good temper. Katie, you fiend. How many nights you have kept me awake cursing your existence. I must tell you about Colidariense, my most beloved horse, is a beautiful black colt. Gave him a kiss on the forehead every day. I would start him off with, "The Choctaws are after you, ride for your life," and he believed it. Woo! Charging through the woods, shouting heroic speeches, and gentlemen in England now a man shall think themselves accursed they were not here, and hold their manhood sheep whilst that he speaks. That the fought with us upon St. Crispin's Day. Cola was also my trusty steed for pranks. Mounted on Cola, I would lean out of the saddle, with the colt at a gallop, and I would snatch up any small child walking alone. And of course I returned the child. It was all in fun. Asia and I would also spend time reading books and poems together. I would recite poems in much of the play of Julius Caesar and some other tragedies, while Asia held the book. I told her I was jerky and stiff and too awkward for the stage. Besides, how shall I ever have a chance on the stage? Buried here, torturing the grain out of the ground for daily bread. What chance have I of ever studying elocution or declamation? Well, with the help of one of my father's books, I began practicing elocution daily in the woods. As for ease and deportment, Asia was a better judge. I dressed in one of her skirts, and with a little scarf and bonnet, I walked across the fields to see if the darkies could discover me. I knew my elegant deportment was a success when they began removing their hats in respect. I remember when I was 9, my brother Edwin and I helped him fit up a latticework arbor in the backyard as a playhouse. With a gaily patched bed quilt for a curtain and a row of candles for footlights, the Theatre Royal was open for business. One large copper cent secured a seat in the best part of the house, the yard. 10 years after performing at the Theatre Royal, I found myself in Philadelphia performing with the Arch Street Theater's resident acting troupe. While the city slept, we studied. It was very hard work for the beginners, as there were 6 new parts a week to study. And as a beginner, but failure followed, I was cast in the role of Ascanio Petrucci in Lucrezia Borgia. And now, toward the end of the first act, I came on stage with a number of other young noblemen to find my companion in conversation with Lucrezia. My comrades introduced themselves in turn to the evil Duchess. Madam, I am Maffio Orsini, brother to the Duke of Gravina, whom you caused to be stabbed in his dungeon, said the first. Madam, I am Beppo Liveretto, brother of Liveretto Vitelli, whom your ruffians strangled while he slept, said the second. I was to have said, Madam, I am Ascanio Petrucci, cousin of Pandolfo Petrucci, Lord of Siena, who was assassinated by your order that you might seize his fair city. Madam, I am Pandolfo Petruccio. Damn it, what am I? No. I must have faith. When next you hear of me, I will be famous. With time and practice, I began to understand what it truly meant to be an actor. You see, the end and purpose of the stage is, in the language of Shakespeare, to hold as twere the mirror up to nature. To show virtue her own features, scorn her own image, and the very age and body of the time his form and pressure. To do this, and do it well, is the earnest aim and endeavor. The spirit must also be at its highest level, which is a concoction of intelligence, spontaneity, vitality, and, as Plato said, a dash of madness. One winter day, there was a knock on our theater's door. At the door, we discovered a shabbily dressed vagabond. He said, I have nothing to eat or drink, no place to sleep, and hardly shoes that will stay on my feet. I thought if I could see some of the actors, they would set me up a little. We fetched a basin of water, in which the man bathed his feet. We outfitted the tramp with shoes, socks, and an old suit and sent him on his way. What a compliment that was to actors. Did you mark that? He didn't go to one of those Bible thumpers, did he? He went to the theater. He asked for the actors. In a weary world, actors serve as time killers and care quellers for humanity to prod the tedium of our idle hours and quell the worries that may rise from out our busy ones. Perhaps President Lincoln understands this due to his frequent attendance at the theater. To that I say, God bless. God bless poor old John Brown. Sunday, October 16th, 1859. There were no performances at the theater that day, but an abolitionist by the name of John Brown was indeed giving quite a performance that day. This old abolitionist had launched an anti-slavery raid into Virginia. Hostages were taken, and efforts made to liberate slaves. Shooting erupted in the streets. On October 18th, Tuesday morning, a force of Marines under the command of Brevet Colonel Robert E. Lee stormed the building. Wounded, Brown was taken prisoner along with 6 of his men. Slavery was to be overthrown by violence, Brown declared in the speech, and it would be war to the knife and knife to the hilt. With Brown now in jail, there were rumors that a large force of armed men there was marching on the town to rescue him. The commander of troops in the area telegraphed his alarm to Richmond and asked for help. I was in Richmond walking to I was in Richmond walking to rehearsal. I'm off to the war! Just like that! I joined a city militia company, the Richmond Greys. There I was, standing in rank, not 30 feet from the gallows where John Brown would hang. What I will never forget is that John Brown owned the lightest heart that day of his death. He mounted the scaffold as calmly and as quietly as if he had been going to his dinner. He did not exhibit the slightest excitement or fear. As he stood alone, the dead stillness reigned over the field. I beheld the old eyes straining their anxious sight for the multitude he vainly had thought would rise to rescue him. His heart must have been broken when he felt himself deserted. The old abolitionist was fairly tried and convicted before an impartial judge and jury. I may say, I helped to hang John Brown. And while I live, I shall think with joy upon the day when I saw one traitor less go down. But Brown was a lion, and open force is holier than hidden craft. Thus, the lion is more noble than the fox. November 6, 1860, Abraham Lincoln is elected. And secession is shouted for in the streets. All will be over in a few weeks. There will be no war. It would be too terrible, and neither side will dare begin it. The whole Union is our country, in no particular state. We should love the whole Union, and not only the state in which we were born. We are all one people. Men have no right to entertain opinions which endanger the safety of the country. So deep is my hatred for such men that I could wish I had them in my grasp, and I had the power to crush. I'd grind them into dust. If I could, I would kill every damn abolitionist in the North and every damn secessionist in the South, and there would be no war. This is too grand a country to be plunged into a civil war by such fanatics. December 20th, 1860, South Carolina declares its independence from the United States. Can you, with unmoved souls, see the land where once dwelt love and joy, fretted by internal dissensions? To see the land where our fathers, our mothers, our hearts, our loves are all upon the fearful brink of self-destruction? Oh, what a triumph for the crowned world will it be to see this once proud Union bend its head into the dust. You all feel the fire now raging in the nation's heart. It is a fire lighted and fanned by northern fanaticism. A fire which not but blood and justice can extinguish. I tell you, the abolition doctrine is the fire which, if allowed to rage, will consume and crush us all beneath its ruins. abolition party must throw away their principles. They must be hushed forever. They must either agree to this or be compelled. God grant it may be done in a peaceful way. If not, it must be done with blood. Aye, blood and justice. I tell you, when treason weighs heavy in the scale, it is a time to throw off all gentler feelings of our natures and summon resolution, pride, justice, and revenge to take the place of those nobler passions in the human heart. Respect, forgiveness, and brotherly love. April 12th. Confederate forces attacked Fort Sumter, the harbor of Charleston, South Carolina, starting the Civil War. Mother. You must allow me to go south and fight. You will not let me go. Now you know my heart is there. You are no Roman mother. I am sorry that I said I would not go. What followed were violent searches and seizures, illegal arrests and imprisonments of citizens in military fortresses and dungeons, the subversion of state laws, and the displacement of lawful authorities. One day before dawn, 200 to 300 Union soldiers poured into my place of birth. They fanned out, blocked the roads, and a search for weapons commenced. They took axes and chopped down the door of Town Hall, crawling on my hands and knees to get out of town to avoid being shot. Asia, if the North conquer us, it will be by numbers only, not by native grit, not pluck, and not by devotion. No, if the North conquer us, I am not of the North. Not I. So help me, holy God. My soul, life, and possessions are for the South. Why not go fight for her then? Every Marylander worthy the name is fighting her battles. I have only an arm to give. My brains are worth 20 men. My money worth 100. I have free pass everywhere. My profession, my name is my passport. My beloved, precious money. Oh, never beloved till now, is the means, one of the means, by which I serve the South. It is terrible for a man to shed the blood of another. The sight of blood drives me wild, and this war has been nothing but blood. Blood. The land runs with blood. How I have loved the old flag can never now be known. But I have of late been seeing and hearing of the bloody deeds of which she has been made the emblem, and would shudder to think how changed she had grown. Oh, how I have longed for her to break from the mist of blood and death so circled around her folds, spoiling her beauty and tarnishing her honor. But no, Day by day has she been dragged deeper and deeper into cruelty and oppression. Till now, in my eyes, her once bright red stripes look like bloody gashes on the face of heaven. Next, in 1865, when Lincoln shall be king. No, by God's mercy! Never that! That sectional candidate should never have been president. The votes were double to see him. This man's appearance, his pedigree, his coarse low jokes and anecdotes, his vulgar similes, and his policy are a disgrace to the seat he holds. Other brains rule the country. He is made the tool of the North to crush out or try to crush out slavery by robbery, rapine, slaughter, and bought armies. He is walking in the footprints of old John Brown, but no more fit to stand with that rugged old hero. Great God, no! John Brown was a man inspired, the grandest character of this century. Lincoln is Bonaparte in one great move. That is, by overturning this blind republic and making himself a king. This man's re-election, which will follow his success, I tell you, will be a reign. You'll see! You'll see! Re-election means succession. His kin and friends are in every place of office already. Trust the songs of the people. They are the bards, the troubadours. Who make these songs, if not the people? This tyrant, he watches me perform, applauding. I would rather have the applause of a Negro. I was in rehearsal one day. Cheers from the street drew me to the window. It's Confederate volunteer militia marching. They wore their colors proudly. Dearest, beloved mother, heaven knows how dearly I love you. May our kind Father in heaven watch over, comfort, and protect you in my absence. May he soften the blow of my departure, granting you peace and happiness for many, many years to come. God ever bless you. I have always endeavored to be a good and dutiful son, and even now would wish to die sooner than give you pain. But, dearest mother, though I owe you all, there is another duty, a noble duty, for the sake of liberty and humanity due to my country. For 4 years, I have lived, I may say, a slave in the North. Not daring to express my thoughts or sentiments, even in my own home, constantly hearing every principle denounced as treasonable, and knowing the vile and savage acts committed on my countrymen, their wives, and helpless children, I have cursed my willful idleness and begun to deem myself a coward, and to despise my own existence. For 4 years, I have borne it mostly for your dear sake. And for you alone have I also struggled to fight off this desire to be gone. But now it seems that uncontrollable fate, moving me for its end, takes me from you, dear mother. You have been the best, the noblest, an example for all mothers. God bless you, as I shall ever pray him to do. And when the last bolt strikes your son, dear mother, bear it patiently. and think it the best. Life is but short, and not at all times happy. My brothers and sisters, heaven protect them. I will add my love and duty to their own and watch you with care and kindness till we meet again. And if that happiness does not come to us on earth, then may it be with God. So then, dearest mother, forgive and pray for me. I feel that I am right in the justness of my cause, and that we shall ere long meet again. Heaven granted. Bless you. Bless you. Your loving Son will never cease to hope and pray for such a joy. Come weal or woe, with never any love or devotion, you will find me ever, your affectionate son, John. Asia, my girl, when will your child be born? 5 months. I hope you will keep well and get stronger. God bless you, Sister Mike. Take care of yourself and try to be happy. We are a band of brothers, native to the soil, fighting for our liberties with treasure, blood, and toil. And when our rights were threatened, cry rose near and far, hurrah! The bonny blue flag that bears a single star. Hurrah! Hurrah! For Southern rights, hurrah! Hurrah for the bonny blue flag that bears a single star. And here's to our Confederacy. Strong we are and brave, like patriots of old will fight our heritage to save. And rather than submit to shame, to die we would prefer. So cheer! Cheer for that bonny blue flag that bears a single star. Hurrah! Hurrah for Southern rights, hurrah! Hurrah for the bonny blue flag that bears a single star. Ah! 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 For 12 days I have been hunted. Now Yankee cavalry surrounds me. They're saying if I don't come out and surrender, they shall set the barn on fire and burn me out. You have spoiled my plans. I was going to Mexico to make my fortune. This is hard. I'm guilty of no crime. If I have done anything, I did it for the good of my country. At least I fancied so. I'm a cripple and alone. Give me a chance for my life. Be fair and give me a show. Draw off your men 50 yards, and I will come out and fight you. I could have picked off 3 or 4 of your men already if I had wished to do so. I've had half a dozen opportunities to shoot you. Well, my brave boys, prepare a stretcher for me. Make quick work of it. Shoot me through the heart. On the old